Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and welcome to the first movie review of the year, as I'll be reviewing one of my most anticipated movies of 2017, simply titled Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions. Now, before I get into my review, I'd just like to state right now that if you are not a fan of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, you probably should go to another video, because to really go into depth with my review of this movie, you really have to understand the show itself, because I'm going to be talking about elements, and if you literally have no idea what I'm talking about, then it is going to make it impossible for me to explain anything. So again, if you are not at least familiar with how the Yu-Gi-Oh! TV show, or at least the first generation, works, you're watching the wrong movie, because you really need to know your Yu-Gi-Oh! In order to even partially kind of understand what's going on, and even then you're gonna struggle. Now, I will say this: I'm gonna go over what this movie did right, and I'm gonna go over what this movie did wrong, and what I thought was frustrating, because overall I wanted to enjoy this movie, but it was just incredibly frustrating. And by the time I left the theater, me along with several other people that I was watching this movie with kind of had a sort of disappointing feeling walking out. Now, what the movie gets right is that they brought the original cast back from the first generation, so everyone's back. The animation is great. By far some of the best animation that I've seen for this show to date. I thought some of the comedy worked a lot. I liked a lot of the monster designs, because a lot of classic monsters that many of us are familiar with get brand new designs. I thought they were cool. And I thought that some of the action in the actual duels themselves was pretty cool to witness, but that kind of goes into the animation. The problem with this movie is that it had the opportunity to tell a real story that really would have worked in the context of the show's mythology, but the problem is that it goes so all over the place that by the end of the movie you understand very, very little. And the movie doesn't really spend enough time really explaining anything, because nothing that is new to this film makes any sense. Now, this movie is 2 hours long, which is insane, because there are two subplots going on, and they really should have focused on one. The main plot line is that this takes place 6 months after the end of the final episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or the first generation of Yu-Gi-Oh! In which Yugi had defeated the Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh spirit went to the great beyond. And since then, Seto Kaiba is kind of depressed that he didn't get a chance to duel the Pharaoh one more time and beat him, because he's always getting his ass beat by him. And so what he does, he actually manages to go to the site of where the Millennium Items were buried. He actually gets the puzzle, and he's actually able to reconstruct it, but he knows that he needs Little Yugi's body in order to bring the Pharaoh back. So that is pretty much Seto's motivation. While that's going on, there's another subplot which involves a character named Diva, and he has apparently an 8th Millennium Item, and he pretty much wants to destroy the world because he thinks, you know, mankind is evil. So it's kind of one of those plots where, you know, you have this antagonist who thinks he's doing the right thing because he thinks mankind is evil. And that's the most that I can go into without getting into spoilers. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a spoiler review. Tell me if you want me to do one in the comments down below. But the biggest sin that this movie commits, if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, is that it goes to the trouble of creating an entirely new dueling system, but at no point is it really thoroughly explained. And because it's never explained, you can't really enjoy the duels themselves. Just to be honest, if you've actually seen the duels in the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Film, those duels are actually better, because they follow a set of rules that we're familiar with, and so we can actually follow along with duels to understand what is going on. These duels are completely all over the place. They bring up this new dueling system called Dimension Summoning, and it has these really weird rules. And people are pulling monsters and pulling cards literally out of their asses. And because they're all new, none of us know how they work. And therefore, I can't follow along with the duel. There are 5 duels in this movie, and I would say that the best one is probably the first one, because after that, you cannot follow these duels. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist. I've come here to say dueling, and I'm seeing matches that I cannot understand because they are using rules that they don't explain very well, and we are completely alien to. And because of that, we cannot even enjoy the very thing that we came here to see. It's nice seeing the characters, it really is. But we've seen this type of storyline before play out throughout the show. And so the fact that we are revisiting it is just kind of old. This story is outdated. They had a real opportunity to tell a story about growing up and letting go of the past. And that was really what I thought the movie was going to focus on, but it just never does that. At the end of the day, as much as I really wanted the nostalgic value to be enough to push me through this film, at the end of it, I just thought it was just an overall disappointing experience and all. I mean, it's nice that I got to hang out with people that enjoy the show as much as I did and came to see it for the same reasons I did, but we all just kind of came out with the same feeling. It was great to watch visually, but we got nothing out of it. We had no real personal connection to it because it was all brand new and it was just muddling and it just didn't connect to what we were familiar with. And for those reasons, I have to give Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions a C. Just, if you want to see this movie, just prepare yourself, because this movie is very, very difficult to follow. And if you're not a fan of the show, then don't even bother watching it all, because you're not going to understand anything that is going on. So that is my initial movie review. If you like this movie review, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to check for my future movie reviews. If you guys would like me to do a spoiler review, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll be sure to upload it sometime tomorrow. That way I have maybe more time to analyze. But just coming home from the theater 20 minutes ago, these are just my thoughts. So with that out of the way, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.